Hello, my knitty friends. Welcome to the Hudson Valley Knits Podcast. I am Amy, your host, also known as Memers on Ravelry and Memers66 on Instagram and Twitter. Welcome to my winter wonderland. It is gorgeous out today. Doesn't negate the fact that there's snow everywhere, but it's 40 degrees. So I had to come outside. I hope the lighting's okay. I really can't even see the screen at all. And I don't even know if you can really hear me very well. So I'm trying to talk loud. I am at George's Island again. I am at the same park I was last time, but in a completely other end of the park. And I think I got a gorgeous view. The only problem is the sun's right there. So I hope the glare's not too bad. I hope. But can you beat this view? I don't think so. Alright, so I have everything covered, so I won't get any of my beautiful knits wet, but geez Louise. Right here. And everything's in plastic bags except my stash. Alright. So I don't even need a coat. I'm just wearing my Icelandic sweater. It really is that beautiful out. I have some announcements, but I think maybe I'll record that separately at home. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I think I'm just gonna get right to the whips. I am currently working on, only actively really, you know what, I think I will cover the announcements. I wanted to talk to you guys. The 2015 meet your goals knit along kind of thing, that is still going on. I have a number of people signed up and I'm really excited about that. Let me get a little closer. I just wanted to say, I'm gonna put this down a little, hold on. That I wanted to remind you that at the end of March, at the end of February, if you change your goal list or if you join in after that time, you can only use finished objects after that date. Whereas if you finalize your goal list before the end of the month, you can use anything you've knit all year. So that includes any projects finished in February or January or February, okay? And finished, so you don't have to have started it. So, that being said, I also wanted to talk about the senior love along. It's on again this year. I'm going to do the washcloths, and I set up a finished object thread for your washcloths. So if you're making washcloths, go ahead and post them on there. One picture per washcloth, and each picture is an entry. So put them up there. I have to say it was a huge success last year, so I am really happy and excited to be doing this again. I also am doing what I'm calling Adopt a Senior, and a number of wonderful people have signed up for that. The woman that I was working with at the nursing home to do this left her job there, resigned, and there is no replacement. She gave me a name of someone to talk to, but that person really didn't want to get involved. She's probably too busy, and she asked if I would contact them again after someone has replaced Molly, who I was working with. So I guess it's kind of on hold. I did visit there the other day. I go there once or twice a month and visit. And I was visiting this gentleman, Ed, and he said he would love to participate in such a thing and write letters and receive letters and cards. So that was inspiring. And then I stopped by to visit this woman. Her name is Elnora, and she said she wouldn't want to. So I will check, and I will make sure that the people who I assign you to are willing and would enjoy it. Some of them are not in the best, they're just not interested. So that's fine. So please don't give up on me. I will make this happen. It just might not start right away. All right. Those are all the announcements. Yeah, nothing else really on that end of the front. So now I will get into my finished objects. I guess I'll start off with that because I'm wearing one, and this is the last episode. I showed you like all I had was ribbon on a hat, and I told you I was taking a Japanese pattern class with Marie from the Subway Knits Podcast, and I had just the ribbing done. Well, I finished that hat, and I actually finished a second hat. It really only took me a few hours, and the other hat I forgot to grab. My husband's probably wore it when he went to work today, so I can't show you that. But this is made with fire. I always want to say firefly. Oh my goodness. And I wonder, did I grab the labels? No, they're on my desk. Anyway, hello. Hello. No worries. So this is a cable hat, and it was in a Japanese pattern, and like I said, I made two of them. It's Dragonfly Fiberworks yarn, and I had gotten this at Stitches East a couple of years ago, and I actually got this particular skein I got for 16 bucks. It was on sale because apparently there was a spot on it of like a pink dye, and honestly, you can't even see it. So I love it. This is nice, squishy, soft hat. And I know I showed you this last time and I was concerned, but I got a lot of responses from people saying how much they loved it. So I am going to send this shawl to my Aunt Nancy as a gift. It's made out of my homespun loop spat, and it is the Oblivious Knits Blythe pattern. And here it is. It's all blocked out. So thank you all for encouraging me, and I'm looking forward to sending this to my aunt as a gift. Knitting podcast, yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
Out in the wilderness.
Yeah, I like to
Hopefully
do it
eagle will
outside.
fly behind you.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Wouldn't that be gorgeous?
It would be.
So, really easy to see these two big birds out there.
Oh,
Did
are
you
they?
see some?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right out here, just on the float out here. Just fishing.
All right, so that
There
is
they are.
that. I also have another. It's not really a gift. She paid for the yarn, but a while back I told you that I knit my sister a cowl from my pattern, the teacher cowl, and I gave it to her for Christmas. And her sister-in-law was up for Christmas that year. She lives in North Carolina, and she basically kind of stole the cowl and wouldn't give it back. And so my sister did finally get it back, but what she asked me to knit her one. So she did pay for the yarn, and it is made with the Long Island livestock. This is actually an alpaca and merino base, which I actually like a lot better than the one I made my sister. It's a lot softer, and it actually blocked out nicer. So, and then the lock spun is different as well. She uses a different person to make the lock spun now. It's less frilly, if you will, but I like it. So this is going to Diane in North Carolina soon. So those are all my finished objects for this week. I am running out of works in progress. I'm thinking about casting on something else because aside from Mark's sweater, the ice shanty, and my socks, I don't have anything else on the needle. So, speaking of socks, I did finish one. Hi. Here's the one finished. I blocked it out last night so it would look nice. And this is it's by Hunter Hammerson. I'll know that. It is the oh, I didn't write it down. Dang it. See, this is what happens when you podcast out in the wild. But I think it's the Marsh socks. It's from her Silk Road Socks book, and it's really beautiful. I actually I made a mistake, a counting mistake here in the tip of the toe, and I was going to just say screw it, and so basically you could see where it kind of reduces, she decreases down into this twisted rib pattern, and I kind of forgot to do that, and I was like all the way up here, and if I had started it there, I would have been, my foot would have been way too long. So I did frog back a little bit, and I did it right, and it fits beautifully. The sock yarn is gorgeous. It's Jill Draper makes stuff. I forget the name of her sock yarn base, but it's Fireside, Campsite Fire or something is the name of the color. It'll all be in the show notes. And I did cast on the second one. Haven't gotten much farther than the ribbing, but let me show it to you nonetheless. I did bring it. It's in my canoe bag. Ironically enough, this is one of the places we cast out the canoes. Anyway, yeah, so it's just the ribbed, twisted rib cuff. But love this pattern. It's great, and I really love the sock yarn. I have a couple more skeins of this, and I'm looking forward to using it. All right, so that is that. Now we have, let me show you my ice shanty. Now the ice shanty is knit in pieces. A little organized here, sorry. Alright, here we go. I finished one of the back pieces. And let me show you. Oh, this is the right neck. So this has been done for a while. This I actually used as a swatch. It was the smallest piece, so I knit it up, blocked it out and swatched it, and it got perfect gauge, even though it did stretch out. Oops. So here is the other piece I finished. This is a back piece, and you can see it's ribbed on the bottom, and you can see last episode I was all the way down here, and I knit all this. So it's coming along. I'm usually not a fast sweater knitter, but this has been moving along pretty good. Pattern, well written, Amy Miller, Ice Shanty. It's part of the Plucky Knitter bundled up package, if you will, pattern package, but I'm knitting it in Miss Babs. Miss Babs, and I always forget the name. Heartland Worsted. It's 100% merino, not superwash. Very stretchy when it's wet, but bounces right back when it dries. And I cast it on the other back piece. So just a couple of rows on that. So that is my final work in progress. I really, I have Mark's sweater, but I didn't bring it up here because it's, again, I'm outside. It's too much to bring, but I will put a, I'll put a picture right here. Okay, so whips for spinning. I did very little spindle spinning. I have a bobbin on the wheel that I will take a picture of and put right here. But this is my gourmet stash ponies. I just do a little here and there, coming along. Still quite a bit left of this ounce to spin up. Really just loving it and enjoying it. But I also wanted to show you this. I got an Erin Makes Stuff spindle, and quick, long story short, when I first started spinning, I bought some fiber from Dana of Unwind, and I used that to learn And I spun up the first ounce of this fiber. It's BFL. I don't know what it's called. I know it's BFL. I don't know what the name of it is. It might be in my stash. But I pretty much killed the first ounce. I was still learning, so I had 3 ounces left. And I decided to start spinning that up on my Aran Make Stuff spindle. Really enjoying it. So I only have 3 ounces left of this. I'm sure I can figure out something to make with it, but I was thinking I'm gonna try and learn the ply and the fly. If you watch Yarngasm podcast, I forget the woman's name, Vine yarn. She makes, oh darn, what's her name? I watch her all the time. I can't remember her name. She's from Brooklyn. She has the Vine yarns, and she does the Yarngasm podcast, and she's actually doing a spinning / knit a project. She just changed it up though. She had the contest was originally to spin and knit up a project, at least a shawl, but she changed it to just spin enough yarn. But she's been spinning and plying on the fly, and I think I'd like to learn it. And this is a good fiber to learn it on. I'll just use whatever I've left. Here's the rest of it. I hope the light is really touching this good, because I can't really see the screen. And I know the sun is kind of coming down behind me, which might be ruining the good light. So that being said, also with spinning, I have first let me show you this finished object. I had showed you on 2 bobbins. I had spun up some hedgehog fibers, sparkly merino. It's merino, silk, and sparkle. It's incredibly soft. I spun it up. Here it is. It is the most gorgeous color you could ever want. I just love the color. I didn't spin it up too well. My twist was very inconsistent. My draft was very inconsistent, so I got thick and thin. I had a hard time drafting it. It's still beautiful, and I'm not sure what I'm going to knit with it, but it is beautiful fiber. And I did feel encouraged to spin up some more. So on the bobbin at home, which I said I would, you've probably seen the picture already because I'm going to put it in there. I am spinning up some merino silk blend that I got from Highland Handmade, trying to perfect it. I did notice that for the most part I had too much twist in this, so I changed the ratio up a little bit so that I could pedal a little faster without making it all kinky. So not sure what I'm going to knit with this. But I know I want something soon, because I really love the colors. Yeah, and that being said, I think that's it to show you with works in progress spinning and knitting stuff. I was very fortunate to have won an Instagram contest, not really contest, I guess. Well, yeah, from Knit Picks. They had 10,000 followers, and if you showed the, shared their picture and tag a friend, you could win, some yarn. And I did that, and I tagged my friend Mary Jean, who doesn't even really use Instagram much, but she went through with it. And we were picked out of like hundreds of people. They chose mine, and me and Mary Jean both got some really gorgeous yarn. So here's what I got. First I got this diadem fingering in emerald. It's soft and furry. Beautiful cloud to it. 50% baby alpaca, 50% silk. It's a single ply. I'm not sure what the heck to make with this. Anybody have any ideas? It's a beautiful forest green. The colorway name is What is the color? Oh, made in Peru. Emeralds. Beautiful color. And so I got one skein of that. Then I got 2 skeins of Chroma worsted in the colorway Groovy. Same colorway as my Socks at Rock from last week. This is worsted weight, again, single ply. It is 70% wool, 30% nylon. And again, I don't know what to make with this. I have to really think about it. I love it, though. It's really nice and soft. I love the colors. And finally, I got 2 skeins, and this is my favorite because I love the colors of this. This is definitely my kind of color. 2 skeins of Chroma fingering weight. Again, it is wool and nylon, 396 yards each. This is going to be a nice, beautiful, big shawl. Can you tell these are my colors? It's the color of water and gray skies. The colors of my river here. So this is definitely going to be used soon for some kind of long cowl or shawl or something. But, oh, I love this color. This color is... Where's the color? Sandpiper. Sandpiper is the name of the colorway, and I love it. I'm tempted to get more. I just really love it that much, like for a pair of mittens or something, or a hat or something, I don't know. And then most appreciated was the little card that said "With love" from Knit Picks. And Jenny from Knit Picks gave me a nice little note on the back. And I mean, that was, oh, and a Knit Picks project bag. Always welcome. So, you know, I was really touched by this. I thought it was a really, really great prize, and just really cool that I won it. So all those repostings on Instagram paid off. So that's it, guys, with the show and tell. And being as it's so nice, and I'm really loving sitting here talking to you all, I brought a couple of pattern books that I had purchased a while back. Let me get them out. That I really, really love. And I was going to do a book review on the sock architecture book put out by Cooperative Press. But I thought about it, and you know, there's so many reviews of that book out there. I think we can all agree that it's a fantastic book. I don't know if I would say it's a book. Oh, you can't see it. I just saw an eagle take off. Sorry, guys. Sock Architecture is a great book. I don't know if I would call it a book to learn how to knit socks. It's definitely a book to learn how to knit socks in different ways. Awesome book. Highly recommend. Thank you, my people. So I decided not to bring that. Again, numerous great reviews, and every one of them good, and I say rightly so, because I thought it was an excellent book. And I look forward to using some of the new techniques that I have learned from her for heels and toes and different cast-on methods and whatnot. So I brought to you 2 books. One is a book of patterns strictly by the author, and another is a book of patterns from different designers. But the designer is Carrie Bostic Hogue, and she her website is Matter, but she calls this book the Anthology 1 collection. And she does have an anthology 2, which I have not purchased, and I love all the patterns in it, and I think if it had come out first, I might have purchased that one. But those patterns are much more simple, and probably you could probably knit a lot of them without even a pattern if you are good at those kind of things. But I really liked the simple, beautiful styles. I loved her use of garter stitch and her simple shaping. And what I love most about Carrie Bostic Hogue is her, um, she keeps things simple, but manages to make them extremely interesting. So the anthology one, what she did is she took various stitch patterns and designed all different kinds of items with them. A sweater, an accessory, a shawl, a cowl. There's some children's sweaters in here. And she named them all. So Camilla, Sibella, Imogen, and Beatrice. And they're all beautiful lace patterns. And here's actually a little sampling of all of them. Let me show them. And then she just makes different things with them. The book does not have a lot of writing in it. It is a pattern book. It has a little welcome introduction. What's very striking about this book is the amazing photography. And I mean amazingly beautiful photography. Up there with like Kate Davies kind of photography. Very comparable to that level of beautiful photography. So here's Camilla, and just as a for instance, notice how she uses the garter stitch and how she uses the natural shaping of the stitch pattern to create just a very nice little detail to make it unique and not just another garter stitch sweater. Really beautiful, simple neckline, probably very easy to make. And then she takes, so we have a big bulky sweater with some garter stitch. And then she takes the same stitch pattern and she makes this beautiful, delicate shawl. So you see why I'm so intrigued by this designer is how she plays with the different stitch patterns and just manages to make very different looking items with them. And here's the children's version of the sweater. This was my favorite stitch pattern here, called Sibella, and I bought the book because I really want to make this sweater. I love the yoke in the stitch pattern. I love that it's a cardigan. You could also make it, she includes directions to make it a pullover. It's a very simple sweater, but it just, I love it. Here's the cowl with the same stitch pattern, which would actually go lovely with the cardigan. And here it is in the pullover version. So I would make everything in here. So she also goes ahead and makes a scarf. Aren't these photographs beautiful? I love it. And then Imogen. This is a very popular stitch pattern. I've seen this in a lot of designs by Shirley Patton. I think she made this wildly popular. Shirley Patton, definitely for sure. She makes a cowl, and then another sweater with just like a pattern panel down the front. But again, it's just enough to make it unique. Very simple shaping, very simple necklines. Baby blanket, child sweater, short sleeve, long sleeve. And then finally the Beatrice pattern, which is kind of looks like a kind of like a wrap stitch. I don't know, I'll have to look. Here's Beatrice with a cardigan, little pockets. Love it. Here's something right there. A cowl. And again, here's another, like a cardigan sweater with a unique styling. Love the photography. So all of the patterns are photographed in the beginning. And then the patterns themselves are written out in the back. There's some charts, but there's also line-by-line instructions. So I haven't knit a pattern, but I did read through them. She gives a nice range of sizes for the sweater. She goes up to I think it was like 55 inches chest measurement, which is really, I appreciate because I have a big chest. Well, some are smaller, some 47 and a quarter. And she tells you the size it's shown in, but she doesn't tell you the size of the model, which kind of would be very helpful. So again, the stitch patterns are written and charted, which I know a lot of people prefer written over charted, so you do have that option. And the only gripe I have with this book and the other book, which I'm about to show you, is you cannot download the patterns on Ravelry. She sends you a PDF, she emails it to you when you buy the book, but you cannot download the patterns on Ravelry. And yeah, I like to have everything in my Ravelry library. So I have my copy on my computer, and when I desire to knit one of the patterns, I can print it out, just that pattern and the stitch key, and then I'm good to go. And I don't have to carry around a book, which is always nice. And to copy a pattern from a book is not easy because they don't open up nice. So she does give a PDF copy, but I wish she would allow us to download into Ravelry. So then she came out with this other little booklet, and it contains a design by her, but also designs from Olga Baraya, Kefelian, Amy Christophers, Bristol Ivory, Cecily Glowick McDonald, and herself. And it is named after the different elements: earth, fire, metal, water, and wood. Okay. So each pattern is themed by their different elements. It's beautifully printed, again, beautiful photography, but this book is smaller and the pages are thinner. So here's the pattern Earth by Bristol Ivory. Gorgeous sweater. I'm definitely more into knitting sweaters this year. I want to play around more knitting sweaters. This one was not my favorite. Fire. I don't understand why anyone would knit a sweater with holes in it. I don't know. This I loved. Metal by Amy Christophers. Love this one. I want to make this. The yarn is not given on this page. I also like Waters by Cecily Glowick McDonald, but I think I like it more for the color than the actual design. Here's the color and the design. Now here's my problem with this sweater. One, it's not long enough. I don't know, it's way too short. And two, why do people make sweaters that like end over here? Don't you want a sweater that covers your chest? Why do you make a sweater that only comes in an inch into the front of your... Why do you do that? I don't get that. And this one doesn't. You want a sweater that at least meets in the middle of your chest. It's not wide enough in the front. It's silly. To me, anyway. And here's the one by Carrie, and it's gorgeous. I think this is made with... she made this with, what's his name? Brooklyn Tweed wool. Did she? Loft by Brooklyn Tweed, yeah. So here is wood. Another beautiful pattern. I have never knit with Loft. We had him come to our knitting guild, and he brought samples and he brought yarn to sell. And I wasn't impressed with Loft. First of all, it pulled apart very easily, although some people say once it's knit up, it's fine. And I can't say either way if that's true or not. So we'll say yes, okay, it's fine when you knit it up. But I don't want to have to worry about pulling apart yarn as I'm knitting something. And the other thing is they weren't squishy. They were very flat. And I felt like the patterns, the stitch patterns got lost. Oh, there's a hawk. Sorry. I felt like the stitch patterns got lost because the yarn was so flat. It didn't show them off nice. So that's just me. I know a lot of people love Loft, and you know, go for it. So those are the patterns in this book, and again, it is just a pattern book. It has the beautiful photography, the well-written patterns, and you get a PDF version, but again, no Ravelry download. So, wow. So guys, I don't want to leave here. It is so beautiful. It's 40 degrees, and it's just lovely. And the sun is coming down, and it's sparkling off the water, making like little diamonds. It's so beautiful. You can see the big chunk of ice out in the middle of the river. There's lots of eagles, but they're too far out for you to really be able to see them well. Just, oh, man, I wish I could sit here and knit, but everything's wet. I was going to take some pictures, but the whole table here is wet. All the ice is melting, and the snow is kind of getting heavy and wet, so I really can't take some pictures. Well, maybe I will anyway. I have my blanket, which is what I'm sitting on. But really, can you tell why I love this place? I really love it here. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Oh, remember? I'm teaching a knitting class, my first knitting class in person anyway. I mean, I've taught tons of people to knit, but I've never taught a knitting class. So I'm teaching a beginner knitting class at the Marlborough Library in New York. It's up a little bit north of Kingston, New York, which is on the other side of the river, and up about an hour. Not far from where my daughter lives, so I figure I'll teach a class and then I'll go visit my daughter. It'll be nice. But so if you live in the area, I think they have a couple of spots left. It's at the Marlborough Library in New York. And that is it. Ciao for now.